Welcome to Reddit. If you're new, please take 2 seconds to subscribe to the channel. Videos are posted daily and I need friends. Subscribe bless. Serious, folks who used to be incels, neckboats, or nice guys / nice girls, what helped you snap out of it and how could people help friends or colleagues who may be on or going down that road? It's not something that just changes one day. It's all just beliefs and actions that really aren't the right things to be thinking or acting. How to avoid. Even that super cute person you like is a person. All those thoughts you have in your head, they have them too. Their own conscious, their own ideas, their own beliefs. They're not just a thing for you to like, they're a complete person. If you want someone to like you, you have to be someone they would want to like. You can't get mad at someone for not liking you, or not responding the way you want. Sure, you can get mad if they're actually rude to you, but that's not very often. And usually the only times someone would be rude is because you're continually pestering and annoying them. Imagine if someone you found unattractive was always talking to you, always doing stuff for you. Is there any nice thing they could do for you that would all of a sudden make you attracted to them? To add to this, there's a saying, if you put someone on a pedestal, you force them to look down on you. Treating people like equals helps a lot. It's also fucking terrifying for the person who's being put on that pedestal because nobody is actually perfect and you know you're going to fall down eventually. So true. My first boyfriend, who was a nice guy that chased me for years before I finally gave him a chance, told me that he put me on a pedestal and that I was disappointing. When he saw this upset me, because what 16-year-old wouldn't be upset about being sexually disappointing? He qualified it by saying there was no way anyone could live up to the expectations he placed on me. Whatever. And afterwards he became continuously more controlling and paranoid when I didn't want to have sex with him as much after he told me I was a disappointment. Go figure. That's honestly a really horrible thing to say, even if that is honest. I figure that must have been a major hit to your self-esteem. For sure. High school childhood was not a great time for me in general. I went from chubby, ugly duckling to eating disorder to trying to maintain a healthy weight and sense of self-worth. Then I started dating that guy who would guilt trip me into sex. Tell me he didn't like how I acted after hanging out with my best friends and that I shouldn't be friends with them. And just generally act like a manipulative jerk. And when I finally broke up with him, most of my friends, not my best friends that he didn't like, stopped hanging out with me and started calling me a bitch because they didn't know the whole story. My home life was also shit thanks to my abusive mom. But once I left for college, life got so much better. I'm 24 now and I have a wonderful husband, 2 great dogs, a career I love, and I've never been happier. Always great to hear people with a difficult past to be doing well. Good for you. I'll go. I was cringy as all get out in early high school, 10 years ago for me, and I am super thankful that MySpace went south so most of my cringy nice guy posts are no longer accessible. What helped me was I was involved in some hobbies that made me a lot of older friends. One of them, about 10 years my senior, sat me down and straight up told me life was never going to get better until I changed how I was doing things. He didn't tell me to stop liking Lord of the Rings or video games, but rethink how I express that to other people. Whether I am trying to exclude people with my interests or include people. Whether I am really being kind to everyone around me or just a nice guy to women I wanted to date. That advice couldn't come from a peer, because I hated my peer group, and couldn't come from my parents, who didn't know how deep the cringe went, but could have only come from a respected mentor. I really look forward to hearing from some recovering cringe lords. I'm really glad you had someone like that to give you some perspective. I have noticed a lot of the men who stay in that mindset for 10+ years really start going down a frightening road. I hope you have been successful in your dating endeavors. Yeah, I never had that. My dad never once talked about dating, or girls or anything like that. Never had any older friends, or even successful ones. I didn't have female friends. I was just totally 100% oblivious to how things worked, and wasn't the most gifted at reading people, and was always damned with a lack of confidence or belief in myself. So I failed pretty hard for years. Instead of going full incel and thinking they were the problem, I just assumed I was. That I was so screwed up it was next to impossible for people to like me. It's not a mindset I've gotten out of yet. I've had a pretty broken life, and got the shit end of the stick a lot. Dating has followed in that tradition. Becoming physically fit helps a lot. It builds confidence, creates a healthy habit, and increases your social circle. Depending on how you go about it, it does, but it's also important to go about it the right way. There's some people who go out and get jacked, but still have a very off-putting personality, and women aren't interested in them. which sends some guys off the rails because they always thought that being fit would make them a magnet for women, and don't realize women care a lot about a guy's personality. I have a friend like this, extremely lean, muscular, and great looking, but very insecure and shy, especially around women, and I have seen women move away from him because of the awkwardness alone. Fortunately, our friend group is really supportive and try our best to help him out. Shy is fine, insecure, aggressive, and stacked is a bad combo. I've said this before, Reddit changed my attitude on if I was the nice guy or a muscle with this simple phrase: women are not sex machines where you insert niceness tokens into. Sometimes the girl just isn't into you and that is her right. You can't force attraction. From a pure physical attraction standpoint, I call it the hot celebrity problem. A ton of people can look at a celebrity and think they're hot. There's still going to be at least one person looking at them being like, "Hey, not my type." It's not the celebrity's fault. It's not the uninterested person's fault. There is no one to blame. It's just a fact of life that not everything is attracted to everyone else. As much as we all like to believe we're special, we're not that special to win over anyone and everyone if we want to. You can be the ripest, juiciest peach in the world, and there's still going to be somebody who hates peaches. Dita Von Teese. I could eat a peach for horse. Former nice girl here. I never understood why guys didn't like such a fun non-slutty me while complaining in the same breath how all men are misogynistic pigs. My form of showing interest was subtle stalking, dropping hints and general awkwardness. Also, I picked guys who were very attractive, confident, which intimidated me to the point where I couldn't have a normal conversation with them. In high school I pretty much dedicated all my time daydreaming about a boy who had no idea I existed, and in college I chose the aggressive route of awkwardly flirting with him in public and refusing eye contact. I cannot think back without cringing. The funny thing, both the boys ended up dating pretty normal looking girls. I had put them on such a pedestal that with one breath I was implying how undeserving I was of their attentions while complaining how nice good girls like me don't get the guys. I think ultimately growing up and seeing all my closest girlfriends settle into nice, stable relationships is what changed me. How could I expect to be in a healthy relationship when I couldn't value the gender I was supposed to be in a relationship with? So I grew up, started listening to others' opinions, started valuing myself more, and took some time off to be myself rather than to be what somebody else wanted. This is similar to how I was, but luckily I got a dose of reality in early high school and not college. I think there are a lot of factors that go into why people think this way. A big one is pop culture. Movies have the hero or heroine love someone who doesn't return it, but in the end of the movie they get together. All it took was perseverance. Since that girl guy at school doesn't like me, I just have to keep trying. Then we have things that girls and guys say that reinforce belief in the stereotype, not blaming them. You have to be in the stereotype to get it enforced. Stuff like, why can't I just find a nice guy like you to date, or you're not like other girls, you're like one of the guys. I can say anything to you. Normal people realize those aren't invitations to date. People in the hole think they are. What helped me the most is that my dose of reality was a nice girl who was into me that I had no interest in. I saw it from the outside and realized, holy shit, that's exactly what I'm doing. It isn't the movies, it's just being annoying. Incidentally, it was her nice girl actions and attitudes that made me uninterested, not her hobbies or appearance. Thank you for watching. Got a similar story? Share it in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to Reddit for more daily Reddit goodness. Subscribe, bless.